Hi gang, let's talk about scenario 2-2, trapping an error and keeping the application running, and we'll deal with it in VB. Let's look at our default ASPX file. And we've got a couple of buttons here. I'm reusing some code from before, and we're just going to focus on the events associated with scenario 2-2. So we've got a couple of buttons here. Let's go look at the buttons. And for the submit button, we have throw new exception, test exception. So that submit button is actually going to throw an exception for us. So that'll generate an exception. The server says, hey, we've got an issue. And we're going to address it or catch it in our global ASAX file. Now we've got our application error event procedure, and within it declare this last exception. That'll be my variable. Declare it as a string, and I use the server.getLastError, convert it to a string. So I'm going to acquire that last error, dump it into my variable called last exception. I generate a message box, and then I clear the error. Now I could have cleared the error before, doesn't matter, because at this point I've got that data from the error stored in this last exception. So in VB I can quite simply create a message box, and here's my string literal constant, custom message box. The following exception occurred. Here's my variable, and it's going to have a VB OK only button. So it's a simple little message box. So let's go back. Default page, we'll run the page and see what happens when we click that button. Now, in C#, the way I did it was I just passed the value over to another page, or passed it to any page. With this one, I'm not interrupting the life cycle of the page at all. I just pop up a message box, and it's not impacting my page at all. So here we go. It's our default page, and the form's loading. Okay, had two buttons, the other button's hidden at this point. Submit, that's the one that had my click event. Trigger that click event, and here is my message box, my custom error box, custom message box. The following exception occurred. And here's my exception. Okay. The message in the exception, test exception, where it took place, it's all there. I click OK. And here's some other code associated with that event. So it threw my error and did what I wanted it to do. So we caught it. We did everything we had to do. Let's move on to another scenario.